Hello, welcome everyone to the How You Profit Show. This is your host, Jeff Herring, and with me today is our guest, speaker, trainer extraordinaire, Michael Davis, who we'll be introducing in just a moment. So glad you're here. The reason we do this is that most, if not all, content creators have been sold a bill of goods. Just create more, just create more. And that's really great for the platforms. It's not great for us. It's a prescription for burnout. And so what we focus on is turning your best content into products. Okay. So you beat that, poor creator kind of thing. Oh, I like that phrase. Somebody just came in as neuro spicy AI. I like that.
Neuro spicy.
Yeah, that spicy pulls it. Good job. Whoever's
Love that.
behind it. All right. We always have a opening sponsor. And today's opening sponsor is the Committee of Creators who say, I'm back every 3 months. Their website is consistently inconsistent.club, and you can get their time management calendar there, which starts over every 30 days, just like they do. Okay. Now, you're getting it. Okay. You're getting it, Mike. This is not real. But some people will text and go, is this for real? I went to the website and it's not there. I said, well, yeah, it's a reason for that. All right. So, now, I'm assuming everybody on here, hey, Cheryl, is a creator. And every creator's dream is one thing, predictable income you can count on. Now, I like the one offs, I like the one shots. I love what I call the internet holy grail is regular, consistent, recurring income, right? So, we're going to talk about that a lot today. And I want to talk with you first about the two different ways to do it, Substack and the Evergreen Profit Machine, because so many people do one or the other and they don't ever get the connection. Okay. And so Substack is the absolutely the best content content creator tool I've ever been involved with. And I've been doing this for 20 years. It does so much. And it's more than that. Okay. It has three tiers of recurring income baked right in. Okay. You can do the monthly and then you're getting the steady cash flow. You can do an annual, it's upfront loyalty and cash in advance, or founder, which is premium. And that's your biggest fans getting the whole picture. Um, I learned a little bit about that yesterday and today, Michael, because yesterday and then today, I got Stripe updates and like, what is that from? And I'm looking it up and it's because I started Substack seriously a year ago. And it's people that signed up for the year redoing, and I'm like, I like this, right? So that's the Substack version, monthly, yearly, or you can do a founders. And we'll talk about um, when Mike and I get going about how to do that really well. Think of your evergreen profit machine as beyond Substack. Okay. And as Mike and I were talking about before we came on live, every EPM has at least one recurring income source, sometimes two. All right. And these are not random products. They're structured systems connected to each other that feed each other. We're talking memberships, group coaching, ongoing programs, evergreen, drip kind of things. Now, let's talk about the double engine for these two. Okay. Think about Substack as the flywheel. It attracts, it nurtures, and converts. EPM, the Evergreen Profit Machine, is the anchor. It holds subscribers in a reliable system of recurring offers. And if you see me glancing over here, I've taken notes for today, so I don't want to miss anything. Now, here's what I want you to consider. And this is a game changer for everybody that does it. All right. Substack is the default setting is $8 a month, $80 a year, and then something else for the founders. Folks, good luck with that. You know, hopefully you can reach 10,000 people and charge them $8. Most of us cannot do that. I cannot do that. And so what I encourage is this, whatever your core product is in the EPM, if it's recurring or whatever product is recurring, you make that your Substack three tiers. Okay. The monthly this is going to be profound here, the monthly payment. Okay. That you have also off of Substack, right? The yearly is the yearly at a discount. I usually do 10 months for the I mean, 12 months for the price of 10. And then the founders, you can change the name of it and you want it to be branded to you like spicy AI person. Um, and what you can do there is make it super high ticket. That they get everything you got in your EPM, and you can do it for a year, you can do it for 3 years, you can do it for life if you want it. Okay. That way, your Substack, and part of what's true about Substack is the only way they make money is from us doing that. Okay. And they just like you better when you're making the money. Okay. So you're satisfying that. And you're not just looking like somebody that's using Substack, to promote. I had somebody recently get caught up in that and we got them out. Um, and then, let's say they come into your core product through Substack. Well, then they're going to hear about the prequel and the sequel and the spinoff, and now they're getting linked into all your other stuff. And here's something that I came up with. I really like the way this turned out this week. Recurring revenue isn't about charging more; it's about charging differently. Okay, that's a write down, folks. Okay, recurring revenue is not about charging more necessarily; it's about charging differently. Now, today, we're going to take Michael Davis's brilliance as a speaker trainer, and he is the author of the coming book. I love this title, Story Power Trio. Master the three stories that win trust, close sales, and increase influence. And we're going to help Mike weave recurring revenue into his business model. Folks, stories sell. Mike knows that. Stories sell, systems scale. And we're going to show everybody, including Mike, how to turn that storytelling expertise into recurring income with an EPM, short for Evergreen Profit Machine. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. It's always a pleasure to be with you and pick up more of your wisdom. You've had a big influence on me.
Well, thank you, sir. And I've learned from you with the speaking stuff. And gosh, how long have we been connected? I'm
It's
thinking,
probably going on a decade. We
that's
met
what I'm
through
thinking.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I was thinking around 10 years, but some people call that a decade. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So that'll work. Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about this new book that's coming out.
It is. I've been a story coach for 15 years, presentation and story coach for 15 years. Last year, it occurred to me, Jeff, that there are a lot of people talking about stories now. And my concern was I'm going to just get lost in the shuffle because most story coaches, they do a good job. They're talking about this concept, the hero's journey.
Right.
And most people have heard about the hero's journey and we know about all the brain work. And it occurred to me because of my work that most coaches are missing two other important stories that we must master if we want to be highly influential communicators. The story we tell others is actually the least important. The two
Ooh,
others that we need to master are the stories we tell ourselves. I call that the identity story. How do you see
yeah.
yourself?
Yeah.
Second is the perspective story. What is the perspective of the people you're talking to? And this doesn't matter if you're a speaker talking to an audience, you're a leader talking to somebody in your team, you're in a selling situation. Doesn't matter. The story you tell yourself is most critical because if you walk into any situation, well, I don't know if I should be here. Boy, they're going to find me out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't deserve that. That is definitely impacting your approach, your energy in any situation where you're communicating. So
I
you got to
love
get
it.
clear on that. Yeah, and there are exercises in the book that will take you through that.
I can't see the
And
name right now, but somebody just said this is gold. Yay.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that, Melody.
Bang on that heart, everybody that thinks it's gold.
Yeah.
I
So
like what you're saying, the story we tell ourselves, which is basically where all our limitations come from. And then the story from the other person's perspective is also huge. I was talking with a coaching client last night, actually over dinner. Um, and he was telling a story about how he does a certain thing that makes him feel bad. And I said, all right, stop. When you were telling that story, were you seeing it through your own eyes as if you were there, or as if it's a movie and you're watching it? And the way his eyes shifted, I knew the answer. I said, You're seeing it through your own eyes. He goes, how'd you know? I just, shrug my shoulders like I do sometimes. But it's important to know what their story is, right? Because I mean, this is like marketing gold, folks, because if you can be inside their head and know what's waking them up in the morning worried or what they're waking up in the wee hours focusing on, all those things. If I remember when I first did weekly teleseminars, Mike, um, I would have an optional question in the sign up. What's your biggest question about whatever the topic was? Okay. And I knew I was on the right track when somebody put, I don't have any questions right now. You usually answer them before I have them. And I went, okay. Because I'm talking from their point of view. I know what their needs are. That's gold. And if just those two things people got out of that book, oh my God, that's $100 book.
Well, here's the thing. You're right. It is important to know what they're waking up concerned about. It goes even deeper. And the analogy I use now is every time you're in a communication situation, your audience's brain is like a 500 channel TV station, or because we're
That's
streaming now.
true.
Right? So here's what we don't know. Which channel are they tuned into? And typically, and I work with a lot of speakers, I have to remind my speakers, they're not thinking about you that much. Okay. Your speech, your sales presentation, if you're a leader, that talk you've been working on, you've put your heart and soul into it. So you're very narrowly focused in these communication situations. These people are walking into the room thinking about their job, the problem with the spouse. Oh my gosh, is this the weekend we got to go have dinner with the
If
Johnsons? Do
it's
I
in
got
a
to take the kid to
they're
soccer?
staying, and if people staying in a hotel, they're thinking a nap would feel good right now.
Yeah, what time's lunch? This is what they're all thinking
Oh
about.
yeah,
So we have to
yeah.
step out of our shoes, sit on the other side of the table, or sit in the audience and say, what could they be thinking about?
So many times I was at different workshops, I was positioned as the after lunch speaker. Okay. And you know what that means. He's going to keep them awake. Okay. Because of how I do stuff. But I would just put that out in front of them. I'd say what I just said. One of the things I know is you guys just got full of good food and you're going, how far is my hotel room from here? How can I sneak out? Okay. I promise you, I'm going to keep you awake. Okay. And if you start to nod off, I'm going to walk out and stand right next to you while I'm talking. You know, hardly anybody did it after that. So let's dive into this because your Evergreen Profit Machine comes right out of the book, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the prequel product you've come up with is you called it a story power checklist. Tell us what that is.
You'll have a checklist for each of the three types of stories. The first story, what is the story you're telling yourself? There's an exercise you go through where you listen to the story you're telling yourself, the negative story, that little voice
Right.
of resistance that says, you're not good enough. Put a label on it.
Yeah.
And then you go through and you have a checklist of questions to ask, an exercise that counters that story. So that's the identity story.
I
The
love it.
perspective story is teaching you how to go deeper. Whenever, and you are therapy, you know this better than I do, is the problem people bring to us is not the problem they're dealing with. We have to
That's why it's called the
deep.
presenting problem. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one of my mentors in speech coaching was a Hollywood script writing consultant, and he taught me a valuable concept is the story we tell ourselves is I forget the term he used for, but what we're doing is we're hiding our true identity
Ooh,
under the story that we present to the world. I'm sorry, you know what? Now got the term. The identity story is the one we present to the world. The essence story, it's who we really are, and we hide our essence in our identity.
I really like that. I really do. Do you know Brian Basilica?
No,
He's in our world. He and I were talking a couple of years ago on the phone, just kind of brainstorming with each other. And I said something and he paused and he goes, you know what, Jeff? You're just a guy who wants to help people. And I just looked at him like we're looking at each other now going, I've never heard it put so simply. But that just, boom, it got me. Warren, welcome to the show. We're in the middle of putting together Michael's Evergreen Profit Machine. We're talking about the prequel. And so they get a checklist for all three of the stories, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
what it is. A
Very
checklist for
cool.
each of these stories.
And, you know, $17 is a good price on it. Now, um, what we're going to do is combine, folks, his core with his sequel. Okay. Um, and here's why. Well, tell us what the creator is slash was.
And I'm going to look at my notes over here. So
Okay, yeah,
I have a
that's fine.
concept called the story creator, and I have a framework that I've taken and created. It's called the storytelling abs, like
Right.
the core, the abs. That's what ABS.
I love it.
And the thought behind that is it's a terrific acronym for the key words in the framework, but it's also, I'm not a physiological expert, but I have worked out most of my life. And the core, the abs are what build a strong body. Everything comes from that center. Well, so do strong abs in a story. You have a strong core, your story will be memorable and impactful. So what I
Love it.
do with those two parts in the narration guide is, first of all, we don't write our stories the way we deliver them. It's a different order. Jeff and I were talking before we went on the air, and it's like movies. Movies are shot all out of order, and then editors put them together. Well, you're doing the same thing here. So this teaches you how to go through, get the story concept out of your head, what order to do that in, then take that order, mix it up, and put it in the order in which you will deliver it. So that's why it's a two-part guide.
I love that. I love that. That whole thing about the abs being the core is a great metaphor. And where I learned that is in grad school. A bunch of friends came down to my parents' house with me, and we're in the pool. And this one guy was hanging by the diving board, okay, facing away from the diving board. And I watched him pull himself up like this to lay on the diving board. And I went, how? And it was all because he was strong in the core.
Yep.
And if your story's strong in the core, a beautiful thing. So we're going to make that creator part of the course, the Story Power ABS course. Um, and that's a good core product. Okay? That because the prequel product checklist is a good thing to deliver because it gives good content, and it's also a good thing to deliver because it leaves them wanting more. Okay, what's
Right.
next? Okay, well, guess what? I've got something that's next. Here's the course.
Bet Jeff, by the way, on that offer, I'm gonna have a video in there, just a brief video for each one, just some key highlights to look for in each story.
Excellent. That's on the
Ones
on
that
the
feel like a
prequel.
value add
Yeah,
on the prequel. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the key thing. Thank you for mentioning that. That I recommend people do on every one because for $17, they get a taste of what it's like to coach with you. And
Right.
some people are going to go, I want more. Okay. And so for the sequel product, because the purpose of the core, all right, back up. Purpose of this prequel is to help them and get them in the core. Welcome, Catherine, to the show. We're in here, we're right in the middle of putting together Michael's EPM Evergreen Profit Machine, and we're talking about the sequence prequel helps people and gets them to want the core. Core really helps people. It's sort of like what you're known for. And then when they've gotten that big a taste, they're thinking two really incredible phrases for us called "What's next?" Okay, and this is why this whole system works together, folks. Because most of us, until we do this, we commit random acts of product, and there are all these different things all everywhere, and they're not connected. These babies are connected. So we played around with some different ideas before we went live. What were you suggesting for your sequel product?
Oh, you mean the third level or the fourth
Yeah, the
level?
third level. The third
Third
level
level will become,
recurring one.
well, the main course will be the course. That'll be the core product that
Right,
after the prequel, which is a 147, 197
right.
online course with the abs narration guides. So we're going to combine those. The course after that is a 5 week live course.
Okay.
It's a virtual live course, group course, probably 8 to 12 attendees at a time, where they can do a deep dive into their individual stories. Now, my whole goal in coaching is not for people to walk away with a story. That's a byproduct. What I want them to walk away with is understanding the framework.
And if they can do that, they can do the other.
Absolutely.
I love
It's a
framework.
repeatable process. Yeah.
All right. So the sequel is 5 weeks. So they're used to being with you for 5 weeks in a row, both with your course. Like how many modules would be in that course?
I have to think about that.
Just roughly.
It's
Seven,
modules.
107. What do you think?
I think there's probably about 50 because they're like 4 to 5 minute
Okay.
videos.
Okay.
And I
All
think it's
right.
about a four
So
hour course.
how long does it take to deliver it? How many months?
Uh, they can go however fast they want.
Okay. All right. Because one of the things you
Self
can do
study.
in a core product, folks, this is one of the smartest things I did in the beginning, is my products were 197 or three payments of 77, which say comes out to like 231. And either one was great. What I realized though, with the people that were paying 77 a month, they're getting used to paying me monthly.
Hmm.
I like this. So that makes the sale to the monthly thing that much easier. Hey, you've been doing this for 3 months. Well, let's just keep doing it and you'll get all this. Um, Same thing with the course. You can stretch it out. With 5 weeks, um, that could be, two payments, three payments. And it's okay for the payments to be going on after the stuff. Now, that leads to the spin-off product, which would be the monthly recurring stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You
You talking about the
hesitated on that.
fourth
Yeah,
fourth
you
level?
said?
Well, you talking about the fourth level product?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I call laser coaching, where people have access to me for a full year in 15-minute increments.
Did you say 5-0 or 1-5?
1 5, 15.
15-minute increments
Yes.
for a year.
Unlimited. Unlimited. And typically what I've been doing, that's you pay that one time, you got me for the whole year, 24.97.
I love that
Yeah.
because, well, we can say this here because it's just between us. Um, how many times do most of those people call you a year?
The average is between 6 and 8.
Now you're available for more. They can call you
Yep.
every week if they want.
I
And
have one client who does it every week. And
yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, that's part
and
of
I
the
bet
deal.
he's
And I
making he or she's making great progress.
making huge
Uh,
progress.
yeah. Now, folks, what you've got there is a very different recurring model because you can get to 24.97, or you can stretch that out over 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Um, and that's a thing of beauty. And you and I were talking before, um, and I was sharing with Mike how, I came out of the 50-minute hour world as a counselor. And I thought everything had to be that way. I tried to stretch, you don't got to do that. And what I've learned is the more focused you get, and if you're doing it regularly, you can get more than you need in 15 minutes, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. The whole idea behind it is come to me with a problem, a challenge, whatever it is. We work on that, and then you have homework. One new action item. Go do that, and as
Okay.
soon as it's finished, schedule your next call.
I love it. You got to do that before the next call. I love it.
Yeah.
So, folks, I got a little game to play with you here, and I'd like you to put this into the chat if you would. What's something you could teach in 15 minutes? What's an outcome you could help someone get in 15 minutes? You can do this because look what we've got here now. Michael, this is cool. Got the checklist, we've got the course, we've got the 5 week coaching, and now we've got the year product. And you know what's brilliant about this? I mean, I'm real big on service delivery and service consumption time. Okay. We don't want to burn out. and we don't want them to feel like they're drinking through a fire hose. The the 15-minute calls is a beautiful way to do recurring at a very low um, uh, delivery amount, and what they're paying for. You, I'm sure you all know the famous story of, you know, one of the conveyor belt machines at Henry Ford's car factory broke. Nobody could fix it. Okay, guy comes in, he's the expert at it. He jiggles with it a little bit, turns one particular thing a certain way, and fixes it. Hands him the bill for 10K. Mr. Ford's losing his mind. I want an itemized, detailed. He grabs it back for me. He wrote down, um, turning the screw, $100. Knowing what screw to turn, $9,900. Guy paid it on the spot. Okay. So it's people are paying you folks for the time that you spent getting to where you are. Okay. That doesn't mean you got to be the greatest expert in the world. That just means you got to be ahead. Sometimes it might even be a half a step ahead of the people you're working with. Um,
Mhm.
Mike, I think that's brilliant. How long have you been running that?
The laser, oh, about 3 years.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been three
I
years.
love it. And that's the recurring. Um, I want you guys to think about something in your area of expertise. How would that feel if you had somebody that you could call up or set a time for and spend 15 minutes whenever you needed to get a question answered? I mean, I think about that and oh my gosh, yes, you know, because the most dangerous thing for us to do is get so wrapped up in our own heads, don't ask anybody whether it's a good idea or not, and then wonder why your mom's the only person that buys it, right? All right.
That's exactly it.
Michael, you have
It's
brought great stuff to the show, and I knew you'd be a great guest. Any questions so far about what we built?
No, this is helpful. Again, we're all too close to our own material.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when Jeff looked at my original product 2 and 3 and said, let's combine them, it immediately made sense because it cleared space for a new number 4, which is a higher priced product.
There you go. There you go. So I made you a whole lot of money in just a sentence,
You
huh?
absolutely just send me the bill.
I love it. I love it. All right. We're gonna hop into the I used to call it the green room, but now I call it the profit couch, kind of playing off of Johnny Carson's old thing. Remember when he'd have a comedian on and you knew that comedian was on the way if he called him over to the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
absolutely.
That was like,
Yep.
okay. Um, Same thing here. We'll talk a little bit about what we've talked about and then what we're going to do from here. Folks, here's what I want you to do. Okay. This would be worth watching again and do it with two questions in mind. One question is, how can I use what Jeff and Michael did in my own business? Second question is, how can I get Jeff to do for me what he just did for Mike? Well, there's a way to do that. Okay. This is called a profit seat, which you just watched live. And Mike, was it painful? Was it like a hot seat?
It really, I felt no heat at all.
Good, good. I like that. I hate when they do like hot seats at a big conference and people tear into somebody's. They
Oh,
do a
it's
bar
terrible.
rescue
It's
approach, and
awful.
it's like,
It's awful.
no.
Yeah.
So it's not a hot seat, folks. It's a profit seat. We'll work with you just like we did with Mike. Where you want to go is jeffherring.com/E as in evergreen, P as in profit, and M as in machine. Now, Dr. Andy, you're just joining us, and we're wrapping up here. And it's been a really great show. I'm glad you're here because I can tell you that the replay, the on-demand replay, will drop Saturday morning, early, 7:07 a.m. Some of you guys will still be asleep. Uh, and so,
Set your alarms for 7:06.
yeah, there you go. There
You
you
get
go.
ready. Yeah, so
Sometimes some mornings I'll wake up and I'll look at that and I'll look at the traffic starting to come in, and then I'll look at it, and I'll see the typos or the mess ups, and I'm like, out of bed on the computer, fix that thing. Um, so, um, great job. Now, as we always have an opening sponsor, we have a closing sponsor. Okay, I love this one. Angelina just joined us. You're going to think we're crazy. The International Alliance of People Who Launched Once, Then Vanished. The International Alliance of People Who Launched Once, Then Vanished. Their website is maybynextquarter.biz. And you can get their free meditation audio. You're not ghosting, you're strategically resting. Okay. So, um, Michael's thinking that through.
I know some members of that group.
Oh, me too. I mean, that's why these things work because they're they're real. And the way I get them is I give Chat GPT, who I call Vicky. That's what I call my GPT, VIKI. Those of you that have seen iRobot, Vicky's the machine in the sky. So yeah, um, I give Vicky specific instructions to put these together based on reality, just make them crazy. So gave you an inside secret there. All right. So, like I said at the beginning, every creator dreams of one thing: predictable recurring income you can count on. You saw how that was done today. Go back and watch it again and get your own feed, folks, at jeffherring.com/EMP. We'll talk beforehand, get you all set up. Um, it'll be the fastest and easiest 30 minutes you've ever spent. All right. So, Michael, thank you. We'll see you
Thank you, Jeff.
in the profit couch. Same link we used to talk earlier today. Um, and then, folks, as always, thank you for being here. A lot of places we could have been, you could have been, and you chose to be here. So we always appreciate that. Um, go get this stuff at jeffherring.com/EPM to get your own profit sheet. And coming up next week, I think she's on the show. Melody Campbell, she is known as the small business guru. And we've been together since the start of this 20 years ago. And she joined Substack recently. And I said, hey, let's just catch up. And we did that earlier today. And it turned into she'll be joining us next week. Okay. So until then, folks, as always, go use this stuff and we'll catch you on the next show.